It's episode 2 of The Extra Kick. I'm Ashley Anderson here in Houston, Texas, still, and I'm joined by my co-host. It's Donald Wine, who is in Seattle this time, was in LA last time when we talked, but in Seattle after the US won their second game. And we're going to talk about that very quickly, talk about everything we're experiencing in Houston, Seattle, LA, and all your other travels, Donald. But I'll kick it over to you. How's it going? And I'm sure you're feeling really good because of how well the US is playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blur to kind of be in this situation. The U.S. has won the group after two games. I don't think anyone really expected them to come out and play this well. But I'm going to hijack this for a second, Ashley, because this is my sixth World Cup between the men and women. I've done this before. I kind of know the lay of the land. This is your first World Cup, so I am dying to know about your first experience with the two games. That was it, Germany, Curacao that you saw, and then Netherlands today thrashing Sweden. I want to know what your experience has been like. Your first couple of games here in Houston.
Yeah, so I've actually had 3 games. I had Germany and Curacao, which was on the 14th, and then on the 17th, I had Portugal, Congo. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get to NRG Stadium, Houston Stadium, very early this morning to see Sweden play. Oh my gosh, I almost blanked on it. The Netherlands. It was
Yeah.
all Netherlands everywhere. That was really cool to see. I had a friend text me that he was hearing it was, 9 out of 10 fans were Netherlands, and it really did kind of look like that. There was a good representation from Sweden, but you look out in the stadium and it is just orange everywhere. Neon orange. It was awesome. But yeah, I feel like every game I have had a chance to meet people from all over the world. People who I've seen a lot of people who represent Mexico. We're in Houston, so you got, a lot of people here that are Spanish speakers and that are maybe from Mexico. So I've seen a lot of people representing with the jerseys that are going to other games. I've met people today who they were wearing Netherlands jerseys, but they were from, let's see, there was one that was from Ecuador. There was someone I met from El Salvador. So, yeah, everybody's here, which has been the most exciting part, just to talk to all of these people from all over the world.
I we have a shared experience because I got to see the Netherlands face Japan in Dallas. I got to do that after the first US game. And yeah, the orange was everywhere. Like you mentioned, some of my friends decided to pick teams. Some were wearing Japan jerseys, some were wearing Netherlands jerseys. I wore just a US jersey because I want to establish myself as a true neutral, ready to see two good games. And we did. We saw two teams really battle out. But I think that's the beauty of this World Cup. You get to go to some of these games. I get to go to Vancouver tomorrow for Egypt, New Zealand. Probably just going to wear a U.S. jersey and just kind of take in Vancouver for the first time ever and go to this game and experience as a neutral because I'll tell you, it's hard, it's draining sometimes to be a fan of a team that's in the World Cup and going to those games, expending all of that energy in the stadium, and then you get at this neutral game and everyone's like, you need to pick a side. I'm just going to relax and enjoy that one. And again, it'll be my first time in Vancouver, so really, really excited for that. And I'm glad you got the Orange Bus experience because they're always a fun group.
I wish I could have been there to actually get on the orange bus that I've heard about
Right.
the sector, but I was already in the stadium very, very early this morning. Luckily, I kind of avoided the storms that keep rolling through Houston. I'm learning that it's kind of what I know to be Orlando weather, where there's just going to be a storm at some point. It's been very hot, very humid, about 90 degrees every single day. And I'm curious because you've been over on the West Coast. I know LA has got way better weather, but what's it like in Seattle?
Seattle's actually nice. So I just to recap my trip, I went from LA when we first talked. After the game, I flew to Dallas for the Netherlands Japan game. Saw my dad and my brother who live in the area, so I was able to stay with them and kind of spend a day and a half with them outside of going to the game. Then I flew to Vegas to meet up with our friends for a few days in the sun in the very very hot sun, I might add. Very very draining. It's very nice to be in Vegas and to kind of watch all the games. But 108 degrees is 108 degrees. I don't care whether it's humid or not. So then from there coming to Seattle, the weather here has been perfect. It's actually considered a heat wave here. They're like hitting 80. But for me, after being in temperatures of 108, like 80 feels great. The breeze was everything. Yesterday at the stadium was just a picturesque experience. Like I don't think you could ask for better weather, a better moment. The city was just alive, and so that obviously helps with that. But hopefully you get some better weather. I know it's summertime in Houston. It may not get. It's going to get hotter for sure, but hopefully you get a reprieve at least from the storms that they normally get.
Well, if the forecast that I'm seeing is correct, I have maybe 3 days without rain. So I hope that holds up.
3 days is 3 days. You take advantage of them.
Yeah, and I feel like I've been complaining about being tired because I have to get up at 4 a.m. on match days, but you've been on planes and I'm guessing trains and driving cars all over, so you're probably way more tired than me.
Well, I mean, 4 a.m. is an early wake up call. I had a 5 a.m. I guess when I went to sleep last night for reasons we won't discuss on this episode. But it's yeah, the time zones, knowing when games are, you kind of just are stuck to your phone because at least the phone will tell you what time it is and what time a game and your where you are is going to happen, and that way you can kind of calibrate from there. But yeah, I think after this World Cup, just traveling across the country. I'm gonna need like maybe 2 months of sleep. I'm sure you're gonna rest as well after this tournament, just given the nature of your schedule and how busy you are moving once you do wake up at that early wake up call.
And I don't know if you feel the same way, but I think because right now in Houston, I'm in this weird situation where I'm here for a month. I'm immersed in the city, living in the city in an apartment, and I'm working match days. I have this staggered schedule. We're doing this, I'm editing content, all sorts of things, but I can't keep up with what day it is. It's
Yeah.
Saturday when we're recording, and I think it's 6 o'clock Central Time, so it's 4 o'clock where you are. I feel like it's Tuesday. I have no idea what day it is.
And yesterday was a federal holiday where some people had the day off and some people didn't. The game was at noon, so at least local time it was at noon. It was at 2 p.m. where you are. So a lot of people were just like, "Why is this game on a Friday afternoon at like high noon?" Oh, right. There's no school. There's no like you're not supposed to be in work. Really, it's a federal holiday. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. I just know what city I'm in, and then from there, my phone just tells me the rest.
Well, let's talk about that game yesterday and the game that was what last Thursday, I think, if I have my dates correct. But I've been going to watch parties for the US. You've been getting to go to the actual stadiums. I know we talked about expectations, kind of with your heart in it. You're saying that US goes all the way, but after the way they've looked, realistically, are you feeling even better than what you were originally thinking going into the tournament?
Ashley, I'm buzzing. I'm going to be buzzing for a long time. If nothing else happens in this tournament, we had these two moments in LA and in Seattle yesterday. I can't say enough. I like for 4 days after the game in LA, I was just smiling. Like what can you say about a team? We as someone who travels to watch this team play all the time, I don't know what team we're witnessing right now, but I really like it because they're playing well together. They're getting goals early, and I think that's the idea here is like the two own goals. Own goal is one of the team leaders right now, and we'll take it at this point. But to get those early in the game is not something we're used to. But also the fact again that it's at home every crowd at both at SoFi and at Lumen Field were energized and really into it. They're into it when the start happened, but when you get that early goal, you get a boost, and it feels like the teams that we've played so far have not been able to counter that. It's just that's what really has helped kind of get those second goals and some of the ways that they've scored. Guys are putting on some individual performances that we haven't seen in a long time, and it's just it feels like it's coming together. They're not perfect games, but at least we're seeing the start of something where, for the first time ever, in a third game of a group stage, the U.S. doesn't care what happens because we're already through. We don't have to worry. This is literally the first time that we have never had to worry about what is going to happen against Turkey on Friday. Like we can rest everybody. One of my friends joked and asked if I was going to be suiting up for the team. I told him if coach wants me, I'm ready, but I don't think he needs me right now. But it's one of those things where people are kind of looking ahead now to the round of 32 because we've won the group, we know where we're going, we know our path, and we're just kind of hoping the other pieces fall in place where we can look at the group stage and go, this path is winnable.
Well, let's talk about Pulisic because last game, he's got an injury, right? So what's the update there? And is he going to be fully healthy to come back and hopefully take the US as far as we've ever seen him go?
Yeah, well, it's funny. We won the group, and the most recognizable player on the team played 45 minutes of two games, and so I think if this were a World Cup final, he would have played yesterday. He would have given it a go as far as they could go. But because it was a second game and we have a bunch of reinforcements and there's still other games to play, they're saying, hey, let's take it easy. Let's not take any risks with it. Let's leave him out. And sure enough, it worked. And now I don't think we'll see him against Turkey. I think that because that game doesn't really matter, Turkey's out. We're already won the group and are through. That's a chance to play some guys and that are towards quote unquote the end of the bench that can get some minutes and really get some time and save everybody that we need to save for the round of 32 when it really matters. I think he'll be back for that. I don't think he plays against Turkey, and it's not because he's not ready. It's just there's no need to risk anything for a game that doesn't really count.
Right. And so now with the round of 32 locked up, did I see this correctly? Because I'm very tired and I looked at this very early this morning, but is it going to be San Francisco? Is that where
Yeah,
you
Santa Clara, San Francisco Bay Area Stadium, as they're calling it. But yes, Levi Stadium in Santa Clara will be the host game for the round of 32, which is on July 1st. If they win that game, they would come right back here to Seattle on July 6th. So again, a lot of people here are very excited about the fact that the team is not going to leave the West Coast until potentially a semifinal. Because if they win in Seattle, they go right back to LA. From LA, they would go to Dallas, I believe, and then Dallas to the final at MetLife. So I think the team is happy that they won the group. Now they can concentrate on logistics being a lot easier instead of this path where they would have to maybe crisscross the United States a bit for the round of 32. They get a lot of rest between some of these games as the group winner. So a lot of those things are falling in place, and now we have to see the rest of the games and how they play out to see what third place team we're going to play. They have this simulator going on, and a lot of people trying to figure out who it could be, but there's still a lot of soccer left to be played. And so now we get to watch all the other games and go, okay, some of these other teams are teams we might be seeing in the knockout stage.
So I want to ask about the process with tickets because you obviously have a lot of games you're covering, and I know we have some friends that kind of put down, from what I understand, a deposit to kind of cover all of the rounds. How have you gone about tickets? What's the process a lot of people are going to get these different, especially when you don't know where the US is going to play ultimately? What have you done, and is it different from what a lot of other people have done?
So the great thing, I'd say one of the great things about FIFA is that what they do is they have a path process where you can get conditional tickets. So and it's for a round, it's not necessarily for a particular stadium, which is great because as you just mentioned, we could have been in Santa Clara, we could have been in Dallas, we could have been in Boston. You never know where this team was going to end up. But with the conditional tickets, we get a ticket if they qualify for that round. So for me, that's how I have conditional tickets all the way through that I've paid for already. And if the team makes that round, I get those tickets. So now that the round of 32 is confirmed, I will get round of 32 tickets to the game in Santa Clara. I didn't have to worry about which stadium it was going to be, which is great. The only thing is now is the logistics question and how people are getting, because some people, like for me, I got to go back to DC and get my car and maybe do some work, maybe, and repack before I go back out the West Coast. While some people are saying maybe we just extend our trip a little bit longer and just stay on the West Coast. Those are logistics that we thought we were going to have to go through next week, or at least at the end of this week. We get to do that this weekend, which I think is helping a lot of people.
Hopefully you won't need any refunds, but I'm assuming, let's say for those other countries where a fan might have bought tickets with those conditional tickets, you get your money back, right? If your team doesn't go as far as you wanted.
You do. The only catch is that FIFA holds on to your money until December 31st. That's when they have to refund you, December 31st of this year. So for what, 5 months after the tournament's over, they can refund you at any time, but they could hold your money until, Christmas, New Year's. Which if you paid a pretty penny for your ticket, that's a lot to ask. That was one thing I kind of looked and said, I'm not gonna give FIFA $8,000 of my money for a finals ticket and then we don't make it, and then they're going to hold my money until I need it for Christmas gifts. I'd rather just hold that now. And if we get to that point, it will work itself out. And sure enough, I got the conditional ticket. So that part's fine. But yeah, the money is held until maybe December. And then at that point, people will eventually get their money back.
You got an international bank going with FIFA now.
I know, right? Well, with the tickets that are going around, they get the percentage from both the seller and the buyer. They have the holding of tickets, and if you think about it, all 48 teams, and really it was 50 teams because there were some playoff teams that were able to buy tickets. They have all their money, so only 32 of those teams are actually going to see tickets for the round of 32, and the other 16 to 20, like their money, their interest starts building now. Unfortunately, so for Turkey fans, I'm really sorry, but FIFA's now running interest on your ticket money, and at some point they'll give it back to you.
It's fascinating stuff we've got with the World Cup over here.
Yeah, yeah.
Very interesting. Well, I've gone to the watch parties. I went to an American Outlaws party here for the Houston chapter for the first game. And then yesterday I went to Little Woodrow's, which apparently is a chain. I actually was meeting one of my coworkers and didn't realize there's more than one Little Woodrow's, and I went to the wrong one to
Oh
start.
no.
But I was in Rice Village. That was pretty cool to be on a college campus. It was full. Everyone was out. I do think it's really unique to have the World Cup here and then see more and more people get behind it because soccer usually does rank a little bit lower in the US, but everyone's getting into soccer now, including me. I'm, an American football fan. So I've been trying to get involved, and I will say American Outlaws, you already know this. This was my first time going to a watch party outside of Louisville. And even in Louisville, I mean, it's rowdy, but here in Houston, everybody was decked out. Everybody was cheering the entire game. I mean, you got to go to an American Outlaws watch party for a US game. But you've been there at the night before parties too. Tell me
hmm
what it's been like the atmosphere with AO.
Electric. It's like a reunion. There's so many people that I've seen at these things that I haven't seen in a long time, right? They for life or other purposes, they're like, hey, I'm not going to as many games and this, or they're like, hey, I'm not going to games over the next couple of years because I want to save for this moment where I can come to these World Cup games and spend whatever money I need to on tickets to watch our team in the World Cup. And so it's been great to just kind of reconnect with everybody. It's been like a nice 2 week vacation with a bunch of different groups of people. And like I'm here at a friend's house right now. We're just kind of having a rest day and watching the games and having a nice little barbecue because we can. And we kind of have that ability to kind of do what we want as a kind of a unit, as an AO family. And I think that's been the fun part is having so many people bring their people, right? Like to experience it for the first time. For some people, it's their, for me, it's my sixth World Cup men's and women's. There's some who have gone to way more than that, right? And then there's a bunch of people like yourself who's this is your first World Cup, and so it's your first experience with this, and everyone's having a blast. This has been a fun time, and gratefully, the good times are going to keep rolling at least for one more match in LA and then the match in Santa Clara. It's going to be interesting when the round of 32 happens because that's when everyone gets a little tighter, right? Because now the next game could be the last game, and you never know what's going to happen. But these first three games, and especially the one in LA on Friday, that's probably going to be more of a party atmosphere because again, the game doesn't really count. But sure, we want the team to win. But in the grand scheme of things, we're already through the next round. Everyone can kind of relax and breathe easy and kind of enjoy the game and enjoy the people around them.
And kind of the last thing I want to cover before we go, because I know you need a nap. I need a nap. We've got more games that we're going to go to, and you got to get on a plane too. But being in these cities, you've mostly been in the air or traveling, it seems like, between games. But there is downtime between these games when you're in these host cities. And when you're in LA, when you're in Seattle, the things you do outside of the games. For me in Houston, I'm having to find new experiences here when I'm not working at NRG or Houston Stadium, as I'm supposed to say. I went to an Astros game. I found a place actually downtown that was very reasonably priced. It was called, I think, Moonshiners, and they had
Oh yeah,
bourbon.
I've been to Moonshiners. Yeah.
And I've been to Little Woodrow's. I've been to Phoenix on Westheimer for AO. What
hmm
have you been doing outside of the games in LA, Seattle, Dallas? Where have you been going?
Well, LA and Dallas was really about the games because I went and as I mentioned in Dallas, I got to see my dad and my brother and just kind of spend some time with them while I was there, and I'll be back there in a couple of weeks. Vegas was great because there were no games in Vegas, but we were able to watch all the games. And sure, we went to the pool, we went to, Circus Stadium swim to watch the England game and a couple other games while we were there. But yeah, it was mainly about just kind of having relaxing, maybe get a dinner and do Vegas things, but also be able to watch the games. I think because all of us are soccer fans, we're kind of revolving our world around when these games are, whether we're going to the game or we're watching it. But on Friday, yeah, I'm sorry, Thursday. Again, we don't know what day it is. The day before the U.S. game, I flew into town early. We went to the Mariners game. So it was my first time going to T-Mobile Park, which was great. They were playing the Orioles. So it was kind of a taste of home, right? I've gotten the last 5 games that I've been to, baseball games I've been to have involved the Orioles. So it's cool to kind of see them on the road this time. And so that was a fun thing to be able to take in that experience. I love going to sporting events, and so being able to go to another sport while we're watching the World Cup and see those fans getting into the World Cup and getting excited about the games is what we imagined this could be about. And I'm sure you've seen it with all the people in Houston, but just all the stories of all the fans who are just having a blast on this trip, but from the Scottish and Boston to the Germans figuring out what Waffle House and Buc-ee's are. Like the amount of Japanese fans I saw in Dallas with Buc-ee's bags cannot be happier. I was over the moon. Like I'm wearing my Buc-ee's jersey today. But it was those sort of experiences are what the World Cup is all about. People coming and taking up with the cultures and learning about them and having and enjoying them and the local fans welcoming them. That's what this has been about and being able to share that with so many fans from around the world, even Aussie fans like after the game were just very cordial and hey, we're both going to get to the next round, so let's have a party anyway. And so those sort of things are very, very cool. That's what this World Cup has been about so far. And again, tomorrow we get to go to yet another. I get to go to a new city, a new stadium, and see two teams that I haven't seen their men's teams play, but I've seen New Zealand's women's team play, and we get to have a fun time. And I think those are how this World Cup will eventually be told is through the eyes and the stories of the people who came and had a great time.
Well, any other closing remarks before we wrap up our second episode? And I'm guessing sometime next week we'll reconvene. But I think my next game is Portugal, Uzbekistan. And
That'll be
then,
interesting. I mean, we saw Uzbekistan play the U.S. a few years ago, and we're like, why are some people are like, why are we playing this team? And the coach back then, Greg Berhalter, said, well, Uzbekistan's a team that you could see in a World Cup. They're now in their debut World Cup. And so I think that's really cool that you'll get to see a team that a lot of people really haven't seen. So I'm excited for you for that. And you get to see Portugal and see if they can rebound as well. This will be the second time. You saw a great draw with the DR Congo. So I'm excited for you to be down there in Houston. There's so many games that I wish if this was a smaller country, I'd be bouncing around even further to try and make it happen. But I'll definitely be watching that game and I'll be looking out for you somewhere in the stands.
yeah, it's kind of hard to believe. I was just looking at my schedule. So I only have 4 games left in Houston. I'm gonna have the one late game. I've had all of the noon games.
Hmm.
Noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I've had all of those games, and there's only one that's prime time. It's 7 p.m. Central Time, and that's going to be Cabo Verde versus Saudi Arabia. But then after that, I've got round of 32, round of 16, and then, yeah, that's July 4th. And then July 5th, I pack up and
And
on
you're out of there.
adventure.
Yeah, it's a whirlwind, these trips. But hopefully you're getting a chance to in the downtime to enjoy Houston. Have some barbecue for me, please. And enjoy the games because I think again, going out to the bars that you're doing and seeing how engaged people are with all the other games and learning about these teams that's what's going to help move soccer forward is when the tournament's done, people are still like, so wait, when do I get to see Portugal again? When I get to see the United States play again? Like those questions will lead to people becoming better fans of the game and learning more about soccer.
All right, well, I'm going to let you go so you can get some rest. I know you got to pack up, head to your next destination. So have fun. Keep meeting people, getting out. You're doing a good job of traveling.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I
And
guess
you
I'll look
you
out.
enjoy Houston as well.
And this is episode 2 of The Extra Kick.